Session 3.4 Comparing Measures of Center. We talk about two types of the measure of the center. First one will be the sample mean. Second one, that will be the median. We also talk about the spread out of the data. We could use the standard deviation or IQR to find how spread out of the data. We also talk about the spread out of the data. You could use the standard deviation or the IQR. For these sessions, we'll be compare the symmetric distribution and the skew distribution using different measure of the center, and also we're gonna compare the spread out of the data. When dealing with numerical data, you need to describe the distribution using these three characteristics. For the numerical data, we could use the shape, the center, and the spread to describe the distribution. Do you guys still remember what is it? First one, the shape, the distribution. It can be normal distribution, uniform distribution, or skew to the right or skew to the left. So we could say it's symmetric or skew. Symmetric, we could talk about normal distribution and the uniform distribution. Skew, that will be skew to the left and skew to the right. Okay, how about the center? Center, we could use the mean or the median to find the center. Okay, you should be able to find the mean and the median using the formula and the calculator. How about the spread out of the data? We can use standard deviation or IQR, interquartile range, to find how spread out of the data. Okay, right? Choosing a measure. Choose a pair of measures that is best suited for the data, which depends on the shape. Okay, depends on what distributions do you have. Do you have a symmetric distribution or you have the skew distribution? So think about it. Measure of center, which one you'll be using the mean, which one you'll be using the median. And the measure of the spread, which one you'll be using the standard deviation and which one you'll be using the IQR. Okay, check your work. When you have the symmetric distribution, we'll be using the mean for measure of the center and using the standard deviation to measure for spread. When you have the skew distribution, you'll be using median for the measure of center and you'll be using the IQR for measure for the spread. Okay, look at this example. One of the authors create a data set of the songs on his MP3 player. He wants to describe the distribution of song length. What shape do you expect the distribution to have? So you're gonna think about it. Either normal distribution, uniform distribution, skew to the right, skew to the left. So first, think about it. Do we have any song shorter than or equal to 0 seconds? No, right? No song can be shorter than 0 seconds. Good. And then most songs on the radio are around 4 minutes long. Okay, usually it's not exactly, but about 4 minutes long. And only few songs are extremely long. Okay, more than 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes or 6 minutes, but only few songs. So the majority of the songs will be 4 minutes long. That will be my typical value. And then a few songs is just like about 5 to 6 minutes, but it's a little. So guess which distribution is it? It will be white skew. Okay, white skew, that will be white tail is longer. Okay, so the majority is about like 4 minutes long. So think about it. If you have the skew distribution, which measure you're gonna use? Median or mean, standard deviation or IQR? Median and IQR. Okay, so look at this picture. This is the distribution to check the link times for MP3 payers. So you're gonna see white scale, the white tail is longer. And this one, that will be the typical value. Okay, it should be close to the median also. So it turns out the median length is 226 seconds. It's about like 3 minutes and 46 seconds. And then the interquartile range, the QR, is gonna be Q3 minus Q1, which is gonna be 117 seconds, close to 2 minutes. In other words, the typical chat on the alpha's MP3 player is about 4 minutes, with the middle 50% of the chats differing by about 2 minutes. Okay, mean as medians. Skewed data and outliers affect the mean and the standard deviation. So think about it, how to find your mean. The formula to find the mean will be add up all the datas and then divided by number of the datas. If you do have an outlier here, the outlier may be really big or maybe really small. But that will be part of your mean in here. So we say the outlier will affect your mean. The median and IQR are resistant to and not affected greatly by skewed data or outliers. So think about it, how you find the median. The median will be the data in the middle. Even though we do have an outlier, it doesn't really affect the median, right? So this is say median and IQR are not affected greatly by the data or outliers. Usually when you have an outlier, the distribution will have the skew to the right or skew to the left. So using the median will have a better representation for the typical value. And also, you always can think about it. Mean and standard deviation, this is a pair. Median and IQR is also a pair. Okay, median is a Q2, right? So it's to be related to the IQR in here in some way. So when you have the symmetric distribution, you want to use the mean and standard deviation. But if you have the skew distribution, you want to use the median and the IQR. Okay, now let's look at the pictures. Let's talk about the symmetric. Symmetric, I assume that will be the normal distribution. The picture is going to be looks like this. So when we have the symmetric distribution, mean will be the better way to measure the typical value. So the mean is going to be in the middle in here. Okay, but actually think about it. When you have the normal distribution like this, we could also use the median because the data is going to be in the middle, just like this guy, right? All the data on the left-hand side will be similar to all the data to the right-hand side. So actually, when we have the normal distribution, the mean should be equal to the median. It's going to be in the middle here. Okay? Second one, when you have the data skewed to the left, okay, skewed to the left means left tail is longer. Think about it, when you have a mean and median, when you want to compare for it, will it be mean greater than the median or mean will be less than the median? We say when you have the skewed data here, median should be close somewhere like this. Okay, the mean is always want to be close to the middle here. So when I look at this picture here, I would say mean is somewhere like here maybe. Median should be close to the typical value. So the mean will be less than the median. Okay, last one. Skew to the right. White tail is longer. Again, the median should be close to the typical value in here. And then the mean should be a little bit close to the middle part than the median. So in this one, the mean is going to be greater than the median. Okay, the mean is going to be here. The median is going to be here. Okay, so mean is going to be greater than the median. So sometimes if we only have the data and the numbers on hand, we don't have the picture, the distribution. You could kind of guess the mean is greater or the median is greater, or they may be equal to each other. If they're equal to each other, that's some probabilities that will be the normal distribution. Okay, let's try to do this example. A fast food restaurant has 5 employees, all of whom work full-time for $7 per hour. Each employee's annual income is about $16,000 per year. The owner, on the other hand, making $100,000 per year. Find both of the mean and the median. Which would you use to represent the typical income at this business, the mean or the median? Which value is smaller? So first, I want you guys use the formula to find out the mean. And then use the formula to find out the median. Okay, this is the formula to finding the mean. You're gonna add up all the data in here. So they say they do have 5 employees. So this 5 employees, all of them is earning $16,000 per year. Only one owner, he earns about $100,000 per year. So this is gonna be your data. So you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees plus the owner. Okay, add up all the data, divided by 6 people. Use your calculator, you should get 30,000. Okay, so this is gonna be the mean. Okay, now we try to find the median. We do have a 6 data here, and we already arrange it in increasing order. So we're gonna find out the data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data. So this is an even number that will be divided by 2. So I want the position number 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that will be these 2 guys. And then we're gonna find the average of these 2 data. That will be my median. Okay, so now what do you guys think? Which would you use to represent the typical income at the business? Will you use the 30,000 or you gonna use the 60,000? For sure, you want to use 60,000, right? I would say from this data, I could tell the 100,000, that will be the outliers, right? Because this is the income's owner. Okay, so I use the dot plot to create this distribution. 5 employees is about earning 16,000 here, and the owner is earning 100,000. Okay, so I believe this is the outlier. And then when I look at the distribution, it looks like skewed to the right. Okay, white tail is longer. So this is a skewed distribution. And we'll be using the median for the skewed distribution. Okay, and then we could tell mean is going to be greater than the median. Okay, so we know this is a skew to the right. And we know this is a skew distribution, so median will be the better represent the typical income. When comparing 2 distributions, always use the same measures of center and spread for both distributions. Otherwise, the comparison is not valid. So when you have a 2 different distributions and you want to compare the measure of the center and the spread, you have to use the same measure of the center and the spread. For example, if you're using the mean for the first one, you have to use the second one for the mean. If you use the mean for the first one, then you have to use the mean for the second one. Okay? And if you're using the mean, then you want to use the standard deviation to measure the spread out of the data for the first one. You're gonna use the same thing for the second one. But you say, hey, how about if I have a one distribution is a symmetric, one distribution is a skewed data? Should I use the mean or should I use the median? If one of the distribution is skewed, use median and IQR to compare both distribution. Okay, if either one of them is gonna be skewed distribution, you will be using median and IQR. Okay. Comparing the distributions of running times for amateur and Olympic marathon runners is below. So on the left hand side, we do have amateur marathon. And on the right hand side here, this is the Olympic marathon. So we're gonna be looking these two distribution. So both of them, it looks like skewed to the right. Okay, white tail is longer. Since they are wide scale, so we'll be using the median, okay, for measure of the center. They say for the amateur runners, fairly symmetric. Okay, but for me, this one is not really symmetric, right? It looks like the white tail. Okay, we assume if this is the symmetric, we still use the median because for this distribution, this is y skewed. Okay. So the typical woman Olympic runner finished the marathon considerably faster, a medium time of 155 minutes. So this is a medium, about 2.6 hours, compared to 266 minutes, about 4.4 hours for the amateur athlete.